Hey, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back on our platform, the Aviators Club of Uganda. Today, my name is Kakoza Tony James, still your host. And on board today, we have a new comrade here, Captain Alan Ombo from the African Air Group based in Nairobi, Kenya. Captain, a pleasure meeting you today.
Pleasure meeting you.
And of course, our very own panelist, Captain Ivan Mukasa, Chief. Once again, welcome back.
The usual suspect.
Of course.
Pleased to see you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
Comrade Captain Alan, please have greetings to our viewers today. You're new on board, and we are called the Aviation, rather the Aviators Club of Uganda.
Thank you so much, moderator, and thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
And this serves as a greeting to the Aviators Club of Uganda. Thank you for hosting me here. I'm hoping to be of benefit to this country and beyond. And hopefully by the end of this discussion, we shall have seen more opportunities to tap into. Thank you so much.
Very gentle. Captain.
It's a pleasure being here as usual, and it's a great honor having Captain Alan here with us from Nairobi, Kenya. And he has really made us proud from African Air Group. When you look at companies from elsewhere, Kisali, Africa, Nairobi, Kenya, where they are really ahead of us in aviation, coming into Uganda, tapping into us for opportunities. It's really good. It's really great, and we really thank you as a team. We as Wama Air Innovations, we are ready to move along with African Air Group in any way possible. I could say that.
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
I wanted us to weigh both countries because Captain Alan and you are, we are both East Africans, but he's based in Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes.
Open to new businesses in Uganda, I've heard, and I wanted us to weigh both countries' aviation sectors, but it's quite hard for me because Kenya, we've known, is quite very far ahead of us.
Yes.
But Captain,
Yes,
I wanted you to describe, give us by your own words, how the aviation sector in Kenya is working today. By your own words.
Thank you so much. Aviation is globally moving very fast. I joined the aviation industry 2013. I got my first license, private pilot license, in 2016. I'm license number 9939.
Wow.
So as at 2016, we were licensed 9939. I also have got license in various industries like dispatch and drone instructor. And I'm working on my engineering license since I have background in all of them. So 2017, my license in dispatch was 299. As at that time, I had a friend who was getting his license in Uganda. He was license number 3.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Dispatch.
Dispatch.
Yes.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Same year.
Same year.
You were number
I was number 299.
299.
Yes, he was number 3.
In Uganda. You was number 3.
Yeah, right
Wow,
now
look at that.
in Kenya license we are almost 14,000 right now pilots. License number
14,000 pilots.
Yeah, yeah. That is in terms of the license ramp up. And
Quite fascinating.
for the engineering, the application I made was 1,200.
Can you imagine?
Very huge.
Yeah,
Very good.
We already low on the scale.
In Uganda, I went to check the same. Probably I will have been number less than 100
Less than 100. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
yeah.
In ingenuity.
in engineering license. Yeah. So basically, the scope of aviation. I ran a drone college as well.
Yes.
And when we
Of
issued the
course.
license, we were licensed number over 700. Yeah, and this is something that started in 2021. So after 2021 to now, there are over 700 licenses being issued for the drone sector. I really don't know how much licenses have been issued here for the drone.
Wow.
And so basically, the aviation in Nairobi, Kenya, is quite dynamic. We are looking at, as per the civil aviation meeting we had in July last month, we have over 75 airlines 54 operating, 53 maintenance company, and over 18 training organizations approved by the authority. So that is the numbers we are operating.
Wow, this is so. I mean, it's too way far from where we are, apparently.
Captain Alan, before I bring in Comrade Ivan, I've seen the numbers here. We wouldn't like to describe what we have here in Uganda. Because generally, it's very low than what we have here in Nairobi, Kenya. Let me ask you another question before I bring in Comrade Ivan. Based on these numbers, Captain, how has Kenya managed to achieve these huge numbers? And
Yes.
we as Ugandans, we are still lagging behind. How has Kenya managed to get these? I mean, 14,000 pilot licenses. We wouldn't like to discuss what we have basically here in Uganda, because even if we want to try to bring in that, you'll find that we have some already coming from Kenya again,
Still,
Uganda.
yeah.
So how has Kenya and the Kenyan population managed actually to have these numbers greatly, Captain?
For the thing, I really don't know about the policies much here, but in Kenya, we is a little bit aggressive as well. There's a lot of the policies that are built around favoring businesses and companies. For example, aviation was in the military just before the independence and everything.
Of course.
Everybody came from the military, most part. So you get most people over 50 years old in Kenya are probably started in the military, of course. Yeah. So even in Kenya, it was like that.
But Captain, let me come in a little bit short. The video actually, let me tell you a bit of the video that ushered me to aviation to begin loving aircraft, and it was by Kenyans actually. It was a YouTube video on a YouTube channel called Just Brother Viking Wings, and it was Kenyan flight 1022 whether to Great Britain. And when I was listening to the captain speaking, giving his credentials on the video, most of the early gentlemen flying in Nairobi, Kenya, were actually students of Soroti Flying School here in Uganda, and majority of them actually, the aged gentlemen, they were having PPLs and other type ratings from Soroti here. So Uganda back then was pushing a little bit harder, and Kenya was lagging. So how has Kenya advanced
So
to beat
fast
us right now?
to beat us
because they
right
have beat
now.
us fair and square in this game.
For the thing, I hear you well. That we both study all history. We used to have something called East Africa Community.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have Soroti. For the whole East African community. We used to go and train in Soroti. And then we used to have...
the poster bank.
Yes.
The posting system.
Posting system.
For Nairobi.
Yes.
Then the railway system for Tanzania.
Yeah.
So it was just basically East African
It
community.
was an East African setup.
It was an East African setup.
Yeah.
I believe some political reason it was divided.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the something that I see that happened in Soroti is they had a training capacity to train, but the Ugandan market didn't have the capacity to receive all the students.
Exactly.
Why you training 1,000 fellows? Why you taking it? But
Thank
now
you so much.
the same came to be reflected in Kenya. Kenya saw opportunity in terms of aviation. We took advantage of Somali instability in terms of aviation.
Yes.
So we went there by numbers. I've worked in Somalia for over 2 years.
Wow.
2 years of constant living there and coming to Kenya for 1 week and going back. We used to do 20 days and then come back for 5 days. When you're single, these companies can dispatch you
anywhere.
like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So Kenya had that market for operations. And before 2011, my instructor used to tell me, if you get a commercial pilot license, the Mzungu, so the white people will come for your door to knock and say, we heard you got a commercial license.
Yeah, can you please do this?
You fly our aircraft. So they had created that market of charter operation. Charter operation and cargo operation in Somalia that was unstable at that time. So once Kenya created that, some of the people who are working as per Kenya was because some of the biggest schools they were working in Kenya. Yes. Captain Biliani, for example, Kenya School of Flying was a Kenyan captain. So an opportunity for training organizations. He went ahead and set up a school. And at that time, the Kenya school will register over 100 students. I will see when I was joining the flying school, we will see people line up. I remember that time there was a school called Skyline. 75 PPL students lined up to do training because the demand was very huge.
They have demand in Nairobi, Kenya.
They had demand.
They had
Due to the instability in
Somalia and the
Somalia.
neighboring countries.
The neighboring countries. So the demand was there. Before you guys, people used to go to South Africa for the card. Before Kenya would not have enough numbers, so they used to get people who have done university, did very well, pick the best, anybody in the field, take them for the card. But as per 2011, when school started up, the Association of Training disbanded that policy so that they have to employ locals. So Kenya House disbanded that to employ locals. So it's a matter of continuous improvement in the industry. So that is what I will recommend here as well. They have to, Uganda is positioned in a very nice position.
Yes.
If you go to DRC, 60% of those aircrafts are coming from Kenya.
Can you imagine?
Chad, 60%. I've traveled as an aviation. I've gone to Chad, I've gone to Mali, I've gone to DRC, I've gone to Djibouti, I've gone to Somalia in my line of operation. So all of those, most of those companies are Kenyan Airlines being run. Yeah, so
Please.
Go ahead, break.
Captain, your captain is not audible enough, so.
Okay.
so it's okay now? So I think Uganda is also positioned geographically very well because you're looking at surrounded by countries like South Sudan, the DRC Congo, we have Sierra, Central African Republic, we have Chad on the other side. And going towards the west side is not much stronger of an airline. Think about it. Only Kenya was trying to help DRC to come up with their own national airline. And KQ gave them 3 of their aircraft. Some of them brags over there were from Kenya to set up a national airline. So I think Uganda should also consider improving on the domestic operation. Yeah. So that is what I think is improving. And aviation in Kenya is not good. There are some places within Kenya I can only do flights because it's safer and equally not expensive compared to going by road and by train.
So generally, it all started, Kenya's aviation industry all started with capacity building.
Capacity building.
Captain, I want to thank you very much, Captain Alan. I wanted to bring you in this time around. You've had the numbers.
Yes.
You've had
Overwhelming numbers.
very huge.
Very huge.
How are we going to cope up with this as Uganda's aviation sector, and you've read about
Yeah,
it? How are we going to
like
get these
Captain
numbers
has
on?
said, the only thing that we gotta do is to start capacity building. Okay? You've heard him narrate the whole hotel. It's capacity building. If you can build the capacity, okay, then the rest is just a slide over. Because Kenya had to build capacity. After having built the capacity, they had to export the capacity. Now they're exporting services in DRA, isn't it? Go DRA, Chad, Central African Republic, and elsewhere. Now where are you going to take?
Captain, we were having a little chit chat with Captain Alan, and he suggested something quite fascinating here. Children in Nairobi, Kenya, let's call them children. Rather, secondary school students are getting
High school.
PPLs. High school. They have, you can graduate actually with a PPL, a private pilot license. And still here, we discussed that a little time back. People are still fidgeting here in Uganda to get PPLs.
PPL.
So how are we going to cope up with these numbers if we still have?
This is what I'm saying. I mean, if you look at Kenya, okay, they've really taken aviation to another level, okay, to the level that attaining a PPL, you don't need to even to go to an atoll, okay. Stick around to your college, okay. Aviation is part of the curriculum, okay,
Which we don't have here.
which we don't have here.
As per now.
They have aviation clubs, okay? They have aviation clubs. in secondary school. And it's much more easier for a student of secondary leaving high school with a PPL.
I watched. I was in Kenya. I watched a prom. There's a prom. There's a school. I don't know. There's in Entebbe.
It's in Entebbe.
Entebbe Road.
And this prom.
Elite.
Let's not mention the language you see in Ghana.
They will come in. Some of them will even hire chopper.
Yes.
If it was in Kenya, I trained. I don't know drone college, so I trained these kids to fly and get a license by when they're in high school. Do you know what I'm tasked to do during their graduation and everything? They'll have to demonstrate that the drone they flew, the drone they trained in, they can do drone in surveying, they can do drone in agriculture, they can do drone in aerial footage. Do you know what people who are doing flying and have to demonstrate? They have to demonstrate that they can fly.
Yeah, of course.
And
these are competence.
Show competence.
Yeah.
And that is the level. So you're looking at somebody who is gonna, but if your kid is passionate and he really knows what he or she wants, if he's in the aviation, by the time he's 18 years old, and the parent is willing to support the child, that child comes out with a PPL license by the time he's high school. So by the time this kid finishes high school, it takes 1 year, gets a commercial pilot license.
1 year and you have a CPL.
At the end of 18 years, Uganda is eligible to work at Uganda Air.
Yes.
You see, just like that. And that is why now, because aviation is a skill set. So when we have that kind of structure, people don't waste much time.
Of course.
Because these kids play a very complex game than others. So when you pump much knowledge before, when he or she doesn't have much distractions, he's able to deliver. Yeah. So I think that is it, because even us back in Kenya, some of those companies in Wilson, we used to have a term called bush flying.
Yes. We also have some bush flying here.
Bush flying.
Yeah.
It's not a low scale.
So bush flying is a very big thing there.
Yes, I've been at Wilson.
Back then, when I was almost had challenges to pay for my commercial pilot license rather.
Yes.
I was introduced to bush flying to Juba. I was told, get your accommodation 3 months. In 3 months, you'll have 500 hours. That is how much on Kenyan registered aircraft.
Yes.
So
you built your hours.
You go there. You fly like nobody's business. They just give you food. You have your pilot shirt and everything.
Because now the only thing you're holding on to is a private pilot. You're not supposed to fly for remuneration.
For payments.
But you are building.
You are doing all that. You're gaining experience.
So we need to, because I'm looking at the numbers. The number of airlines here are quite few.
Yeah,
very few. Very few.
I gotta say, in as much as Uganda is very developed, Somalia has so many aircraft than Uganda.
Which is in the back states, Somalia.
Yes, Somalia is in shutters.
Yes, but has more airlines.
More airlines than
Uganda. Just land in Somalia Airport, international airport. You will see the number of aircraft. You'll be surprised.
I've flown to Somalia.
Yeah, has more. So we need to embrace the aviation here. The regulation cannot be very strict. In Kenya, we have over 15 people pending to start new airlines.
15 people?
Over 15 people pending. They have been waiting for over 2 years.
We have not seen a list yet.
There's a 2 guy, I begged, they told them, why don't you move to Uganda? They have the same approval as Kenya in terms of ICAO credential. Did you know that?
Yes, we know.
Why don't they move here? So there has to be, the sort of authority has to be a bit lenient to allow operations to exist like this.
Captain Ivan.
Yes.
Has our government embraced such, let us say, because when you fly to Kenya or when you move to Kenya, you can see they have distant airports, live around Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. You go to Kisumu, you go to Eldoret, other in the game parks, I'm forgetting the name, it's Masai Mara something like that. They have, let's call them domestic airports, but they are huge, they are already international airports. Of course, and that's a huge market for airliners, which we don't have here. How is government going to help build this capacity? Because this thing is not only for private sector.
Yes, much as private sector plays a role into the development of
Because
any-
we've seen in Kenya, it's much of private sector.
Yeah.
It's not basically.
That's what I'm coming
But
at.
here we do not have that huge private sector. And everything here could be bending onto government.
You know, when you're counting, you start with one.
Yes.
Okay, and the private sector now.
Actually, for us who have done JavaScript, you even count zero.
Yeah. Now, for private, if it comes to private sectors, Wama Air Innovation is one of the companies that we're having around right now. Okay, so if government is to kickstart or jumpstart aviation, it should jumpstart with Wama Air Innovations. Okay, with the innovation that we're having now. We proved that
Because
simulation-
we've seen, we've had Captain Alan speaking of kids getting PPLs from secondary level.
because there is the process of PPL. There is the process of PPL through simulation, right? Am I right?
It took me probably 3 months to get my PPL license.
You
3
got-
months, and we were speaking here with
Okay,
Ivan, and
but
we
what
had-
really helped you out was simulation, right?
Yeah, we had that program was there. You join PPL. The weather, we are at the equatorial, so the weather is quite good most cases. The same weather we are facing here in Uganda is the same weather most cases we are facing in Kenya.
Exactly.
Yeah, so these schools that are utilizing, once somebody has done training for 2 months, you can fly 1 month, 40 hours in a month. In an airline, you are required not to fly beyond 105 hours in a month. Yet, for a PPL, you are required to fly minimum of 40 hours.
40 hours.
So in a month, somebody can finish that.
Yes.
In a month, somebody can finish. And there's a skill. The more you fly,
The more you get competent.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Captain. We shout it out here that aviation, case study, flight training is a skill. It's not an academia. Okay, it is a skill. It's not an
We've already
academia.
said it's 30% academics and 70% skill.
Definitely. Okay.
Skill is much
so
more
let us
needed in here.
highly focus on the essentials. Let us focus mainly on the essentials. What does it cost for someone to fly? Okay, and let us simplify aviation through simulation. As simple as that. Now look, Captain is here. Okay, rhyming partnership with Wama Air Innovation because they've seen the opportunity. He has gone. Haven't you gone through our facilities? Aren't you certified with our simulation process here, with our simulators? Okay, our flight training devices are 100% top notch. So, if government is here to help, okay, let us start with the private company that are around, like Wama Air Innovations, because whatever initiative government has to put in, it's for the benefit of the whole country.
Experience sound like never before at Shams Sounds, located on Mukwano Moro Chagwe Road opposite Kiseka Market, Kampala. Trust us for all your music systems at a wholesale price. We have a wide range of amp mixers, amplifiers, microphones, crossovers, full range speakers, top speakers, lights, wires, beam lights, woofers, power controllers and mixers. Contact us on phone number 0785 41 12 05 and 0702 41 60 42.
All right, welcome back from the short break, ladies and gentlemen, the Aviators Club of Uganda. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We went into the commercial break.
Yeah.
We were speaking of capacity building because we've known this capacity building issue is the one that has helped Kenya
Exactly.
raise these numbers in the aviation sector.
Because if you have numbers, then companies will come.
Of course, Chief, can you give us a short description of how Kenya has got these numbers through this capacity building thing?
Thank you so much. So, with the capacity building, meaning you create a task force
Yes.
of people. And when there's an enabling environment to work, companies come there. The fact that Kenya has these kind of numbers does not mean that Kenya is richer than Uganda, no. It only means that there's a working environment for Kenya to do this kind of operations. For example, if 60% of companies in DRC are in Kenya, that are in DRC come from Kenya, DRC is closer to Uganda than in Kenya.
Yes.
So it would have been ideal for those companies to be set up here and to be operated in DRC. But unfortunately,
That's not the case.
That is not the case. So I think more room should be given and more emphasis should be given to organizations that is sort of supporting this kind of innovations and sort of supporting this kind of operation. Anybody who's trying to come up with this kind of operation should not be overregulated, because the moment you start overregulating, no startup is easy. You already stressed out when you're being a startup.
Yeah, of
So
course.
you should not be overregulated. I've been an auditor professionally, aviation auditor. The regulation is to help you comply.
Comply.
There's something called a checklist.
The checklist.
So if, for example, a simulator needs to be approved, they give you a checklist that makes sure that your simulation has A, B, C, D.
You
See, once you have that, any businessman or anyone is able to comply with the demands that are there. But now, when somebody, these are all written in English. English is one of our first language. Anybody can interpret these regulations. So you get some people within the authority who doesn't want to reason it. You know, we had a policy back in my country. For somebody to work as a regulation, he or she must have worked in the industry. You don't have people from campus and then you become an auditor. You have zero business in how the aviation operation is. You have no experience, and then you're coming to audit an airline. You put stringent measures on this. That's why you get, for example, for people in my country, an aviation auditor, airline auditor, inspector. This is somebody who was a captain with a TPL. So he knows where to put in best practices.
Yes.
So the regulatory body has to be lenient, sort of, to improve this kind of measures. I'm giving, for example, I'd call one of my friends who want to come up and set up an airline.
Yes.
He was told he needs to have at least $30,000 in a local bank. In Kenya, you need to have a bank statement. Look at the difference. Bank statement. Here you need to have a guarantee of over $30,000. So
Here in Uganda.
So this guy, you need to have a bank statement, and the bank can be your guarantee.
Can you
Says,
They care less about what's in the bank.
They care less what?
bank statement, bank can be your guarantee and say we will support him to this level if need be. Nobody will want to put in $30,000 and just be there for doing that. You know, so those are some of the measures that I found very stringent.
Actually, you may not know how the SARS works. Here we are backed up by government. Government is our back. So we are speaking government in majority of our things here.
So that is it.
So, Captain Ivan, I want to engage you on this very conversation of capacity building here. We've seen Kenya getting the numbers, getting everything at a low cost and in minimal time. Speak about capacity building. How are we going to do this capacity building? Here in Uganda, we've seen how Kenya has done it. Speak about capacity building in Uganda. Still there.
Yes, to have the base of the capacity building, first of all, we need to have facilities.
Facilities, Kenya's facilities.
We need to have facilities. Let's be realistic about it. Once you have the facilities, then you can build capacity.
We have facilities here in Uganda. We've seen some of them, the private sectors, but they are facilities.
Oh, in the sense of facilities. Really? Let's not bluff about this thing. Okay, let's get serious. For once, let's get serious. Okay?
Yes, sir. We are very serious. It's a serious one.
Let me pose a question here. Captain,
Yes, sir.
how many CPL students a year from all the atolls in Kenya can Kenya produce?
500. They produce 500.
Commercial pilot license.
Yes. How many commercial pilot licenses all the see in Uganda from all atolls?
We could have around
15 or 20. Are we serious? And from that point, you claim to have facilities to build capacity.
I'm not saying that we don't have
The whole thing,
we do have
the whole
some
thing,
facilities.
the whole thing is to have facilities that can simplify the art of aviation. I'm not blowing my own trumpet here.
Which kind of facilities are we talking about, Captain?
How do we advance? How do we modify? How is aviation modified in the 21st century? Captain, help me.
No, as you're speaking, some of the facilities that needed, the capability to handle the training numbers. So we have one is an aircraft, two is the simulators, three is instructors. Yes, those kind of.
Thank you so much. And aircraft and simulators, right? How many aircraft do we really have here to play around with? In terms of capacity building.
Kenya is far ahead of us.
And don't refer to our country, to our neighboring countries.
Yes.
We are, you posed the question to me,
Yes.
and we are Uganda here, and I'm answering it.
Yes.
But I'm answering it in the better way possible for you, to the best of your understanding. All right, Captain has elucidated the job. We need to have aircraft, we need to have simulators, we need to have instructors, and I'm saying that we are starting with the aircraft. How many aircraft do we have here so that we have the best of capacity building?
We have, let's say.
Thank you so much. Now you're answering me. Number two, how many simulators here do we have so that we have better capacity building?
We have very few.
Number three, how many atolls do we have here so that we have better capacity building, so that we at least a third of Kenya's level?
Still very few others.
This is why I come in and say we pray hard that government can hear this loud. Okay, we are not going to play around with its funds. We all love aviation, and we came in aviation as a passion, and we are so much enthusiastic about it. Okay, we know we can start small and grow big. Let us the initiative. Let government have its initiative in one of the capacity builders that we have. Or today, Wama Air Innovations, if you call capacity builders, you cannot exclude Wama Air Innovations, can you?
No, we cannot.
With the result that I've even shown. Okay, we proved the concept of simulation that it really works. And it saves time and money.
Let me engage Captain Alan on this short one. We've seen that the facilities we've been discussing have been
Truth be told, that's it.
How basic can Kenyan experts in aviation have such facilities in Uganda? Because the market is here and it's still green. Because let me tell you one thing. I've flown from let me give you an example, from Eldoret to Nairobi, and from Nairobi to Mombasa via Jambo on the Dash 8, and it's very cheap to fly. Actually, it saves a lot of time and very cheap. Why don't Kenyans? Because Kenyans have got the numbers. I've seen a lot of traffic on their small rather airport. Why don't they ship that kind of facility to Uganda? Do you see market here in Uganda for such? Because once we see the experts engaging in this and partnering with WAMA, such as WAMA and the different others.
No, it is honestly the transport in Kenya is quite affordable.
Yes.
And
It's expensive here because it's not here.
I must give credit because I was trying to look at the models like JumboJet. JumboJet only operates one type of aircraft.
The Dash 8, the
Dash 8
Q400.
P400. So it makes it cheaper for them to continue. They put that kind of model so that they can continue operating. This is an aircraft that carries 72 passengers. So you can imagine there are some routes they could carry 16, but they're still consistent.
It's still consistent.
But right now, as of December, I remember on 21st November, I had planned on going to the village. So I said I will book. My friend, by 3rd December, I didn't get ticket. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. By the time, because I was in the aviation, by the time the reservations are calling me, they're telling me somebody sold his ticket. It was the highest bidder. Ticket for 9,000 Kenya shillings was going for 25,000.
Hey, give me a break.
No, it was highest bidder. Alan, there's two people have sold their ticket. It is on the highest bid right now.
You take it?
First half. So that is it. We embrace the embracing of the local operation, the local travel with the air is so huge. There was a time in 2022 I was running a project in Eldoret, the drone spray, and I was still employed. I was working Friday after work. I drive jumbo jet. I reach there, 30 minutes. I'm in Eldoret. I supervise the work. I leave on Monday morning. I'm supposed to report at work by 9. I take a flight for jumbo jet. 8:30, I've landed in Nairobi. I report to work as if somebody.
You
have a coffee in
I have a coffee. I did that for 3 months. Every weekend I used to go and supervise the project for the weekend and come back. So the local travel should be embraced. Starting with the local tourism. I looked at the couple local airlines that are here. I think a couple of the 1900 Beechcroft Caravan, and that is one. There is many. And I've gone to Kajansi as well. Surprisingly, it's not much. You know, and
You're still lagging.
yeah, if we're gonna have sort of a local operation, either I met a couple of people here, and who have been in Kenya and they understand it very well. So they were telling me they were trying to talk to the king, Sabaka king or something.
Yeah.
That would have been a deal for an airport, because in Kenya, JKA is not the busiest airport. Wilson is the most busiest airport. Wilson has registered over 2,000 aircrafts there.
Wow.
There's an aircraft taking over every minute.
Every minute. It's actually the third business in Africa. So Wilson has produced the local operation to be so fast, so efficient. So we also need to sort of embrace that.
And the other thing that in terms of capacity, we as private companies, we should also show interest.
Absolutely.
We should be very vigilant.
Okay.
We should be very aggressive in showing government that we are interested in this. Because look, how is government going to sit down and really think for us before we even think for ourselves? Okay? How many companies are really shouting it loud for the sake of government to have this initiative into them? We are also to be blamed. A company like Wama Aero Innovations, you have good intentions, but they're not showing interest to government that, please, have your initiative in my organization for the good of the country and raising the flag up. So if we are to blame, if we are to put blame, we are also to be blamed as well.
Yeah.
We've not shown enough enthusiasm, we've not shown enough energy that really we can do something meaningful out of the funds that can be granted to us. And that's why we are, because now look, seriously, Kenya with its pride, a company like African Air, with its representative here, coming before Wama Aero Innovations, okay? Outsourcing FTDs, flight training devices, it's so good. That's a good gesture. They are ahead of us, but they've seen an opportunity here in Uganda.
So you're describing Ugandans as people who are short-sighted.
No, I'm not
Because Kenyans are coming already before even Ugandans have embraced the technology.
Yes, because Kenya is far ahead of us.
Far much more.
Far much. That means their eyes are far. They have an eye of an eagle that better than Ugandans, because it's obvious. Wama Aero Innovations, they're into simulation, all right? Both ATC simulation and flight simulation. And it's no surprise that Kenyans are really coming in, because they are far ahead of us. They've seen an opportunity. There's a company here in Uganda that can at least do a better FTD. Okay? That means, yes, that means that can meet all the criteria at a much more cheaper price. And they can always go for it. So, in the bid of building capacity, private companies in Uganda have not also done enough, okay, to shout it out. Because government is not going to do for you. Okay, you have to sit down, lay strategy, okay, confirm to government that I'm going to do this. Okay, then government will always come, bring a hand. And I think that's what Kenyan companies are really doing. They shout it out. And if they be given, if they are granted permits or licenses, they are granted licenses. Because you look at a company like Wama Aero Innovations Captain, we are young. We are 1 year and 2 months. Okay, now look at the capacity. We have two Charlie 172, we have a 737 that you've been flying sometime back. Okay,
I agree.
And we've had a student do solo.
Thank you.
we
That
trained
is,
a student here and went solo in 4 months, in fact 3 months, in South Africa.
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
amazing.
Thank you for the appreciation.
You need to step up, and I was just comparing.
Yeah.
Even me, my African Air group, doing training. We started last September to do the training,
Yeah.
and we've issued out of 120 licenses, drone licenses, as we speak. It's growing, you know. So what Wama Aero has is quite incredible in terms of the simulator training device. Let me to just explain to the viewers what this is. Basically, I really don't know what people, but when people used to go for driving school, there used to be cars that you drive. And yes,
Yes.
you know, so that they're telling you when you're doing a roundabout, this is the lane, you know, those kind of stuff. So, because aircraft is expensive,
Very expensive.
you know, there is no room for error. Your life is on the thread as well.
Yeah. And at the same time, you're burning money
You're burning money,
and time, and your life is.
you only have one life, so you can't say, let me take a risk and see if I fail this engine, if I will land. No.
Of course, no one can do that.
After that, now, the aviation pioneers said we need to have a flight simulator training device. So flight simulator training device is that simulation of an aircraft put on ground.
Producer, you have one of the FTDs we have here, Fred device displayed for our viewers.
Yeah. So you have a cockpit of an aircraft put on ground. The only difference is this cockpit does not take you up in the air. But because of the hydraulics and all the
We have
sensors,
motions.
the motions, the kill effect, you will feel like you are going
Mid-air.
mid-air. So with that flight simulation, because this is to improve your skill. Number one, improve your skill so that you can save your life when in the air.
Check.
And then number two, you can save your cost of training
Check.
in the air. Number three, you can save the aircraft while in
Check.
the air. And number four, you can reduce the time frame that you're spending to train. So those are simulators are there. And there are also levels of simulators if you
Yes.
travel outside. There's a levels of simulators. There's some level of simulator that when you train on it, for example, you take a 737.
It's everything.
The Boeing 737.
Boeing 737. So somebody has finished Makerere University or Soroti, for example. He wants to join Air Uganda to do a
We have Uganda Airlines.
sorry, it's called Uganda Airlines.
Uganda Airlines.
Uganda Airlines to join in as a type-rated 737 or an Airbus. The way he is, he will go first for a simulator.
Yes, of course.
Uganda Airlines will not take him to that aircraft and start doing practice on their own aircraft.
Oh, no.
It's very expensive.
It's very
Very
expensive.
To fly our airplanes, we have
Very
only
expensive.
You can't play around with that.
So now, if this guy goes for a simulator that is called level C simulator, for example,
Yeah.
he will have to come back and do 3 landings and 3 takeoffs on the actual aircraft
Yes.
only.
Only.
Meanwhile, in the simulator, he has done 11 sessions, 12 sessions on the
12
simulator.
sessions.
12 sessions means a session is 2 hours. 2 hours, 2 hours. So this guy has done over 25 hours. Normally people can take 2 weeks. Every day you just simulate on that aircraft until you perfect.
You're perfect.
You simulate everywhere. If Uganda Airlines operate from here to Dubai, you'll be told take off from here to Dubai and land in Dubai. You will simulate everything. Controls are everything is all
Weather, all meteorological
all
conditions.
conditions. Even all the taxiways.
Yes.
So when this guy comes into the level C, he'll have to do 3 takeoffs and 3 landings because of the capability of the simulator.
Yes.
But when he comes into the level D simulator, the civil aviation will endorse
Window doors.
his license that this guy is 737 rated.
Rated.
Even though he hasn't stepped in an aircraft, actual aircraft, but he's rated to fly that
To
aircraft.
fly that aircraft.
So that's how
Through the
important.
simulator.
That is how important simulators are.
Exactly.
So, and simulators have categories. That is how you say from the smallest to the most complex. They have categories. You know, And the engineering is the same because you're taking a cockpit of an aircraft and putting it into the ground to operate. So that's how important simulator is. And in Kenya, I've seen training organizations have to get simulator some level for the training capability because it's a requirement. And most people are doing multi-IR, they'll have at least 20 hours in the simulator.
20 hours.
20 hours, yes.
Most people finish 25. Some of us did up to 25 hours. But 20 hours on the simulator is a mandatory to be logged in your logbook. So
Before you move to
move to the actual aircraft.
Yeah.
And even if somebody does not perform well on the actual aircraft, you take them back for simulator.
Definitely. I used to be back in the days when I was doing my flight training. They used to be stressed away, competent in the air. So now not to waste the money.
burning fuel,
burning fuel media, and you know, we used to have a lot of students in the queue. So these students were pulled out from the aircraft and taken to the simulator, and they would be perfect. So for instance, landing, the guy fails how to land the aircraft, then he's taken to the simulator, has several sessions of the simulator. By the time he goes to the actual aircraft, he perfects it and done. Okay, and if I started my nav sessions, winding up my PPA, navigation sessions, winding up my PPA, I was subjected to 5 hours of simulation. IMC, because you could nav from one point A to point B, okay, make a touch and go, the airdrome. Now, along the way, from point B to point C, for another touch and go, in between, you go IMC, instrument meteorological conditions. So there were those hours of IFR navigation. But I did it in a sim. And after having passed and proved my check ride for IFR, I was sent out for enough. Because you could not just a student go for enough without having had basic understanding of IFR. But that's all done in simulations. Okay? So now, I was asking you here, run me the numbers of simulators that we have in Uganda.
We could be having like, if you do not count this at home, we could be having 3.
Now you can imagine.
And
Is that really capacity building?
They are not even for airlines.
For lawyers, they're not even for airlines.
Those simulators cannot be accessed
those
by
simulators
anyone
cannot be accessed by
anyone's
anyone.
convenience.
At
We have,
Anyone's convenience.
we have 2 in Kajasi for Aviation, and we have 208B, the caravan.
But you can, you as a private person, okay, cannot access it for your own gain, okay?
For our building.
For our building, or maybe resense, or try to rekindle your art of life. You cannot. But here at Wama Aero Innovate, we are the only company here in Uganda that have simulators that can be accessed by any pilot at any one time you feel like. So, in terms of capacity building, okay, much as we blame capital having not had that initiative, okay, we are also to be blamed because we are not shouting it loud. Maybe we're not even confident enough to talk what we really want.
Of course.
Okay?
But we have a forum and we are speaking facts here. I know our viewers and part of people in government will embrace what we are coming up for.
Yes. So now, when it comes to capacity building,
As we conclude,
yes, facilities should be in place first.
we've seen how Kenya has done it, building numbers.
They first built facilities. Those facilities will accommodate.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming in today. Captain.
Thank you
very
so much.
for
Just
coming
to
out.
have a
Oh, it's
punching
long
shot,
way.
yeah. on this simulator. I really sometimes when you're doing something in a country for the first time, you can go to a country that has already done it.
Yes.
And perfect. For example, Wama Aero can go to America and get approval very fast as a simulator training device. Maybe faster than it could be
It
gotten
could be
in
back
any
here
other.
home. Yeah.
So my adjustment or my suggestion sometimes, when you're doing something here for the first time, there's usually this challenge of being accepted.
I know.
Maybe that is what now we will also look into as Wamaro and try and get approval from various other countries, so that when we come here, Jesus had used one time and told prophets are not welcome in their own home.
Very good guess.
When he goes to other countries, people even putting sheets to walk on, putting him food and everything. But in his own hometown, they're telling him
because Ivan and I were discussing way back then, and when we went to Kenya for some sightseeing, we visited some atolls there, and when we spoke with them about what we have in Uganda, they were eager to welcome it. They wanted to learn more about it, what we have, much more than Uganda. So, if you want a good gesture, prophets are not welcome.
Pray by and they will never be welcome.
Yes, so I will recommend you go there, get approval, because our heart is in this country.
Of course.
So that they can now see that we've done it.
Yes.
We've done it. I was watching the Olympic. There was a Ugandan lady who won some of the marathon games.
Really?
Yes. And I can guarantee you, if he's the first one to get a gold here to that level, he must have been training with people who are not from this country.
Of course.
Or else he'll be here and having what is called katogo in the morning, and then it becomes difficult. Continue exercise.
Should we say, Kenya, here we come?
Of course, Kenya, we are coming. Majority of East Africa. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us on the show. Thank you very much, Captain Alan, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Ivan, thank you very much for coming as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the show for today. We are being sponsored by Wamaro Innovations and Shams Disco Sounds at Mukwano. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you in a bit.